I do a lot of speaking engagements because I believe that's what the Lord wants me to do. And I go to jails and institutions and kids' schools and things like that. And I do that because I was given a gift freely, and I'm supposed to give it back, is what I was taught. And, I grew up in the South Bronx. And I grew up on the welfare cheese line. And I mean literally on the welfare cheese line. My mother and I used to wait around the block to go get food. And as I was growing up, I've seen some people out there in the streets doing some things that I thought might get me off that welfare cheese line. And it wasn't really the right thing, but, it was either sports or sell things that I shouldn't have been selling. And as you can see, I was just slightly too short in the sports world. So I took a path that I thought was going to get me somewhere. It got me somewhere. It got me into jails and institutions and very close to death. And, I ruined a wife and kids. Every relationship I was in was ruined. Anybody that wanted to be near me didn't want to be near me no more. The children hid under the chair. They didn't know which daddy was coming home. When you do things like that and you drink and drug, it changes your personality. And you think you're doing okay, but you're really not. Somewhat what Teresa was talking about. I was there a long time ago in that beginning stages of wanting to change my life and do something different. And it was because of people like this that I'm where I'm at today. And the Lord put people in my life. A lot of times I say I, but that's just because of the way I speak. I didn't have much to do with anything. Because everything that I did got me in more trouble. Homeless, jails. And, there are some people in my life that didn't want nothing to do with me that really ended up helping me, like my ex-wife. She brought me out here from New York about 27 years ago. And for the first couple of years, I still did the same thing, and I ended up in the county. Everywhere I've been to jail. Go to Florida, go to jail. Go to jail. I thought that was, I don't know what I thought. I was always high. I had no clue what real life was about. What hearing like this gentleman going to another country and helping others. I never realized that I was really a sentimental person, that I had some manners and respects from my grandparents. Because I lived that street life, and I thought that was the way. I thought respect was people fearing me. That was respect. When I walked down the street or I came around, people got afraid. That's what I thought respect was. It's been a long journey. And the journey has been up and down. And I'm not perfect. I make plenty of mistakes. And that's okay. I mean to do the right thing. It's in my heart to do the right thing. And I'm still learning. I'm still in progress of the Lord changing me from the inside out and teaching me how to do the right thing. Anyway, I got out here and I did some things I shouldn't have been doing and, just continued to get in trouble. And, one day I got dropped off at St. Joe's Hospital and I went to rehab and I came back. And, one day I read things in the Bible about the burning bush and this and that and the other. And, I was telling my girlfriend before we got here that, there was a moment one time over in Park City where I kneeled at a windowsill and I asked God for help. And the lights kind of went out. And I didn't kind of believe in any of that stuff. That happens to other people. And I don't share that too much with people because sometimes I'm still wondering, but they did. And when I got up from that kneel, I went to the neighbors' apartments and nobody else's lights went out. I went to church as a kid because I was forced to go. And not to knock any religion, but the Greeks, do like the Catholic up and down, and it's just, I wasn't very interested. And my grandparents said, don't take your suit jacket off, and it just seemed like something that wasn't for me. So I didn't really know much about God. And I didn't know much about miracles. But I believe I'm a miracle today. So what ended up happening, to make a long story short, was that I proceeded on this journey of being clean and sober. And, when you deal with life on life's terms, when you're clean and sober, you have to have something or somebody to hold on to. There's been some things like my mother's death. For 2 years after my mother died, I didn't talk to the Lord because I couldn't understand, because she had a bad life too, and she got clean and sober and had, a few years of a good life, and then what I believed he took away, which is not the reality of the situation. We all lose loved ones, and that's just the way life goes. But when it happens to you, it's a different story. And there's been some things with the kids, and life on and off, and no job and a job, and but like that song said, you never let go. Through all these years, I've always been taken care of. I've always had food on the table, always had a roof over my head. It may not be what I want, because you always want more. I've kind of, in my old age, learned that I don't need more anymore. And there's been a lot of situations where I didn't understand. There's been a lot of situations I didn't like. And after being clean and sober about 10, 12 years, I realized that, God had a lot more to do with my life than I thought. Because I was able to look back and say, how did I get out of that? And how did I, the only time I ever asked for God's help when I was in jail or, in some kind of trouble. If you get me out of this one, I won't do it again. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. But, being able to know that no matter what happens today, that God's on my side and that God's there for me. And when things happen to me now, which they do, there's no perfect life just because you go with the Lord. There's nothing that says because I got clean and sober that I'm exempt from other things in life that happen. It's just not the way it works. Life is on life's terms. And, so things happen, but I'm able to look back over a long period of time and see how he's carried me and helped me through those times, and it gives me the strength to know that I'll be okay now. So I live a life now that is, I'm high strung, so my girlfriend thinks I worry a lot, but I really don't worry. It's just the way I am. I don't really worry about much because I know I'm going to be okay, no matter what happens. So the journey has, been a lot of ups and downs, and some good and some bads. Those children that didn't speak to me for all those years ended up coming to Lancaster from Puerto Rico and living with their daddy. And they've been with their daddy, 10, 15 years now. And now daddy has grandchildren here that have never seen me drink a drug. And when they see me, those are some of the miracles that happened that I didn't realize. See, I always thought that things were big. I used to live from the outside in, gold and cars and nice things, you see, and then the Lord took me and cleaned me out from the inside out, you see. And, for instance, I had a nice Cadillac. I mean, if you want nice things and you work for them, it doesn't say you can't have them. And I bought a nice Cadillac. Don't worry, honey, I love you. And, unfortunately, she had a little accident. And she called crying and all upset. And I didn't even, the first words out of my mouth were, "Are you okay?" And see, that's when I know I've changed. Are you okay? Never mind the car. The car, you can buy another one. And whether I've said this or not, in all the years and all the relationships I've had, because of my being clean and sober and learning a lot through the Lord, this is the best relationship I've ever had. See, I used to be very abusive, verbally and physically to women. And I thought what I said was what was to be done. And it took a lot of work, a lot of counseling, a lot of prayer, and a lot of help, to become a better human being and to treat people the way people deserve to be treated. So it's been a long journey, and there's a lot of other stories to the journey, because the journey as of tomorrow will be 23 years of a journey. So like the 20 years that I drank and drug before I got clean and sober, and the 23 as of tomorrow of being clean and sober is a long journey. But we don't have that much time. But, what I will say is that anybody that you might know of or anybody that might be here, if they need to talk or they need somebody to talk to somebody that might need help, that's what I believe the Lord wants me to do. Because there were some people that when I first went to Alcoholics Anonymous that helped me. And it was a gift that was freely given from the Lord. And I believe that I'm supposed to pass that gift on. You know, so we all got struggles, and we know we do. You know, but when you're with the Lord, the struggles are a lot less stressful than they normally would be. You know, and those children, my grandkids, when they see me, they act like I'm God. They really do. I never seen kids run up to their grandfather like that, and, you know, it's amazing. You know, and my daughters today, we can talk, and you know, and you know, just like in the Bible, the AA book talks about making amends. So, you know, part of this journey was sitting down with these teenagers in tears and being, you know, grown up enough to apologize to them. This wasn't an easy journey. You know, I had to sit down and talk to these young kids and apologize. And it took a lot of years for them to, you know, and they still tell stories that I don't even remember because I drank and drug. I have no clue. I was talking to my daughter the other day, and she was like, "Dad, you don't remember?" I was like, "Honey, you know me, I'm honest today. If I remembered, I'd talk to you about it. I have no clue what you're talking about." You know, and there's just some things that, you know, about a 10-year period of my life that I have no clue. You know, but I do the best I can, and I try to be as honest as possible with my children, and I try to be as fair as with my girlfriend, you know, and I just try to do what I believe the Lord wants me to do. And it's an honor and a privilege to be asked to speak here. I thank you for that.